can tell you, having been at all these rallies, I can tell you it's different people pretty much at all of them. So you won't know that I'm going to tell you some of the things I talked about up in Santa Fe. But what I want to share with you is, I think the pastor said it well. You know, the America we grew up with, it was a great country. We're blessed with abundant natural resources. We're populated with hardworking and creative people of all races and backgrounds. And we were brought together. The ideology we grew up with was a promise of equality and economic prosperity for all. But today, and really for the past 30 years, the system that created great wealth and shared it broadly, it's broken down under sustained attacks fueled by the greed of the super rich and an ideology of hate and resentment. And that's what we're seeing in Wisconsin. We're seeing it around the country. You don't need me to tell you this, you've read it, but income inequality is worse than it's been since the 1930s depression. Middle class incomes, they've stagnated. Working families have lost jobs. We've got 10% unemployment around the country. Those that have work don't have the hours they used to have. They're not working for the same wages they used to have. And folks are falling into poverty. It's not the promise and dream that we used to have. And at the same time, virtually all the benefits of our country's economic machine and economic growth have gone to the top few percent. But bad as those facts are, and that includes the fact that the current economic recession, it wasn't caused by working families, it wasn't caused by teachers, it was caused by the greed and avarice of Wall Street bankers who drove our economy off the cliff. But who the hell is suffering? Are they suffering? Boy, their incomes have come back stronger than ever. And what are we doing? We're pointing the fingers at teachers making $45,000 a year. I mean, every day we hear lies and distortions about this, whether it's in the media, whether it's from talking heads on TV, whether it's from folks like Governor Martinez and the Republicans in our state legislature. And to hear these folks who are, I have to say, are opponents of a just and fair America, to hear them, the problem is that teacher is making $45,000 a year. It's not that executive, the traders from Goldman Sachs, who among them split $16 billion in a bonus pool. And we're told we have to cut back. We all have to share and sacrifice. Do you know that they're talking about cutting LIHEAP? That's the program that provides heating assistance to low-income folks, a lot of disabled folks, a lot of seniors on fixed income use that for a few $100s a year to keep their house warm. And they're talking about cutting that.
They don't care about people.
You know, according to those people, according to our opponents, those are the folks who need to sacrifice, because it cannot be ExxonMobil, $45 billion in profits in 2009 and not a dime in federal taxes. And we can't ask them to pay more. We've got to take it out of the seniors and the disabled and the working people. And, you know, if you all have been following Wisconsin, you know it's not about the money. You know that the unions there saw the writing on the wall, knew that they'd have to concede on the money side, and that wasn't what the fight wasn't about. That wasn't why the Democratic senators left the state. That wasn't why 100,000 people showed up day in, day out in rallies in the Wisconsin Capitol. It wasn't about the money. It was about the future. Scott Walker in Wisconsin, the Koch brothers, you know, that whole cast of characters. Their objective is not to balance the budget. Their objective is not to create more effective state services. Their objective is to break the unions. And they got two reasons why they want to break the unions. One reason is pretty obvious. They don't like the fact that unions are around and can take a little bit more of the economic growth and profits and direct it to the people who earned it, the wage people. I'm proud to stand here and with my union brothers and sisters, I see them around here. I was a member of Local 503 SEIU and a steward for 503, and I know what it's about. And it's about making sure that the gains are shared broadly. I got to point out, you know, unions are struggling. Even our United Auto Workers are struggling, but you know what? We still make cars in this country, and we still have union jobs because we do have a UAW. What else do we don't make pretty much anything else in this country. If you go to Walmart, you know, we don't make these phones, we don't make TVs. Those guys weren't unionized. And the folks who've been making profits off of all that Chinese imports, they want to break the unions for that reason. But there's another reason why they want to break the unions. They want to break the unions because they want to break the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
You know, go back to the, I'm reminded of something I heard back, I think it was in the 70s, when the right wing was telling us, you know, they were fighting the end of apartheid in South Africa. And they had a saying then, one man, one vote, one time. And they used that to say, you know, we can't let democracy happen in South Africa because the blacks will take over and there'll be no democracy. And you know, that didn't happen, of course. But now I know why they were saying, because that's what they're thinking. They take power in Wisconsin, they take power in D.C., and what they want to do is they want to destroy the ability of the opposition party to ever mount a challenge. They want a permanent Republican majority. Are we going to let that happen?
No!
So, you know, the pastor used what we used to think it was strong words to say class warfare. We're afraid to say it, but that's what's happening. It's class warfare from above, and we can't take it anymore, can we?
No!
And there's another word that only the far, you know, our brothers on the far left would say. They call it manufacturing consent. You know what that means? It means they lie to us. They lie to us on TV. Do you know that the majority of people in this country think the best way to solve our deficit is to tax millionaires? You didn't know that because they won't say that on TV. They say the only solution is to cut Social Security for our seniors who've earned it.
Tax the rich!
It's corporate welfare. It's, you know, it's trickle up. It's screw the working class and the middle class. And we're just not hearing the truth. We're not hearing the facts. And it takes people like you all coming out, standing on a corner. It takes us, takes folks like you writing letters, takes folks like you going to town halls, whether it's your state rep or whether it's Congressman Pierce, and asking those unpleasant questions, uncomfortable questions, and keeping at it until there's an answer. Why does it have to be the working class, the seniors who suffer? Why do we have such a rich country and yet people are slipping into poverty? You know, I think it's time for me to wrap up, but I just want to tell you, our opponents have a really, I guess, a sick view for where we need to go in this country. It involves breaking the unions. It involves keeping people in their place, and it's just not right. I know they're wrong. You know they're wrong. And you know that their union-busting, anti-middle class, anti-working family policies are wrong for America. I'm proud to stand with the folks in Wisconsin, and I'm proud to stand with all of you. Thank you.